CSE, State Public Service Commission, and SSC Combined Graduate Level Exam, as well as CLAT examination. So do visit AKS IAS Academy and also the website of AKS IAS Academy. And about me, I am Sandeep Bhushan and my credentials are: I have 10 years of teaching experience for civil services. I teach international relations and internal security and the analysis of the Hindu newspaper. And this session will certainly help you, because throughout my session I would be emphasizing on the keywords and the key phrases. And by emphasizing on the keywords and the key phrases, we will identify the factual, analytical and conceptual questions for the prelims examination. And by imbibing the keywords and the key phrases in your answer writing, your answers would be precise and concise. Thereby, you will score higher marks in the mains examination. So this session, that is the daily news analysis, will certainly help you to score higher marks in the mains 2020, as well as it will be useful for you to crack prelims and mains of 2021. So do follow the entire session of AKS IAS Academy daily news analysis. And this session is in regards to the daily newspaper analysis of the Hindu, dated, that is today, of 30th November 2020. And before we get into the DNA of the newspaper, we will focus at the quote of the day. And the quote of the day is: "Our greatest weakness lies in giving up." So what is very important is never give up. Keep moving ahead with a positive attitude, and then believe in yourself, and all these are your strength. And what is the greatest weakness is, while you are losing your strength and giving up is the weakness. So move forward with a positive attitude and you will certainly reach your goal. And before I get into the DNA, I would say a very good morning to all of you, the one who are in the live and also in the live chat. A warm welcome to Malvika Sajivan, D Suvarna, and everyone who is in the live. And now we'll get into the DNA of the Hindu newspaper, and the news is India hosts SCO summit. So India is, today we have on November 30, 2020, India is hosting the Heads of Government Council. It is Heads of the Government Council meeting which is taking place, which is of 8 nations Shanghai Cooperation Organization, that is SCO, and it is chaired by the Vice President of India, that is M. Venkaiah Naidu. So what is very important is, for prelims perspective, this is for the first time, that is the Heads of the Government Council summit level meeting is been taken up, or it is under the India's chairmanship, and it is chaired by the Vice President of India, M. Venkaiah Naidu. And India has got the full membership of this SCO summit, that is Shanghai Cooperation Organization, in the year 2017. In the year 2017, and the heads of the Government Council, which would be, that is the 8 nations which would be attending the meeting, are the Prime Ministers of China, that is the head of the China, Russia, Kyrgyzstan, Tajikistan, Uzbekistan and Kazakhstan. But when we look at the India and Pakistan, the heads are not being part of it, but it is the Vice President, and from Pakistan it is the next body which is looking it, or which will be part of the meeting. And the summit, that is the SCO summit, the heads of the government councils of the SCO are held annually, that is at the Prime Ministers of SCO. And this annual summit, it deals primarily with the trade and the economic agenda. That means the primary objective of the annually held summit, that is the government heads of the SCO, that is Shanghai Cooperation Organization, it is about trade and economic agenda will be discussed. And apart from the 8 member states, that is the SCO has the member states is 8, and the observer states is 4. And now the 4 observer states of the SCO which would be attending the meet, that is the government heads of the meet of the SCO, are from Afghanistan, that is Vice President would be Ashraf Ghani, would be the President of Afghanistan. Ashraf Ghani will be attending, and from Iran the Vice President would be attending as the observer states, and from Belarus it is the Prime Minister of Belarus, and from Mongolia it is the Deputy Prime Minister of Mongolia would be attending part of the observer states for the SCO summit. And the special guest by India is been invited to Turkmenistan, and Turkmenistan is or would be representing the special guest which has been invited by India by the Deputy Chairman of the Cabinet Ministers of Turkmenistan. And definitely the government heads of this SCO meet, which has been chaired by India for the first time, and in this meeting India hopes to strengthen the trade, economic and cultural cooperation. So these are the keywords which you need to focus, which will be very useful as the keywords to be imbibed in your answer writing. That is trade, economic and cultural cooperation within the SCO countries or the 8 member countries would be taking up, and this would be taken up to foster, that is to make sure that it is having a greater impact on the peace and prosperity in the entire region, that is the Shanghai Cooperation Organization. And definitely now, as India is chairing the meet, India will present an initiative in regards to overcoming the economic impact due to the COVID-19 pandemic situation. So definitely it is not only in regards to the trade, economic, cultural, peace and prosperity, but also there would be an initiative which would be taken up and presented by India in regards to overcoming the impact or overcoming the economic impact due to COVID-19 pandemic situation. So definitely India is trying to make sure that it presents a very good important note that how the entire world economy is being impacted because of the COVID-19 pandemic situation. So in regards to the SCO summit, these are the very crucial information which will be very useful for prelims as well as mains examination. That is 8 member countries, observer status and also the special guest, and chaired by the Vice President of India, that is Venkaiah Naidu. It is for the first time India is chairing once it has got the full membership in the year 2017. So India has got the full membership along with Pakistan in the year 2017. And the another news is neighbors agree in intelligence sharing. So definitely then India and its neighboring countries have agreed to share intelligence. So definitely it was India, Sri Lanka and Maldives which has agreed, they have come together and they have agreed to expand the scope of intelligence sharing, including terrorism and cyber security. So definitely the intelligence sharing includes terrorism and cyber security, which is a major threat for India, Sri Lanka and Maldives, that is India and its neighboring countries. And in the meet they have also discussed about the common security threats which are for all the countries in common. So definitely it is been discussed in regards to the common security threats between India, Sri Lanka and Maldives, and the 3 countries have exchanged views on, as we discussed, it is on the common security threats, and the 3 countries have also agreed for a broad-based cooperation. They have agreed for the broad-based cooperation in regards to improving the intelligence sharing, as we discussed. And these are, that is the sharing intelligence is, or it includes like terrorism, radicalization, extremism, and then drugs, arms and human trafficking, and then in regards to the money laundering, cyber security and effects of climate change and on maritime environment. So these are all the keywords which the intelligence sharing has been discussed between India, Sri Lanka and Maldives, which is a common security threat. So which are the common security threats which have been exchanged or which have been discussed by the three countries in regards to intelligence sharing is, you need to take into consideration of including in your answer notes, that is in regards to the terrorism, radicalization, extremism, drugs, arms and human trafficking, money laundering, cyber security and effects of climate change on maritime environment. So definitely these are all which are being taken into consideration and discussed and exchanged views between the three countries which were part of the intelligence sharing. And from India, it is the National Security Advisor Ajit Doval who has been part of the meeting, and from Sri Lanka, it is the Prime Minister of Sri Lanka Mahinda Rajapaksa. They both have together participated in the, along with the Maldives, they have gone ahead with discussing or expanding the views in regards to the common security threats, and along with that common security threats, India, Sri Lanka have also participated in a discussion with the Indian Ocean neighbors. See, look at it. It is, one is in regards to the India, Sri Lanka and Maldives. Three countries have come together to discuss or exchange views in regards to the common security threats. And along with India, Sri Lanka, Maldives, it is Mauritius and Seychelles. All the five countries have come together and they have discussed on the Indian Ocean neighbors. Well, that is in regards to the how they have to go ahead with discussing on the, or it was a virtual summit which was the 4th National Security Advisor level trilateral maritime security cooperation, which has been between India, Sri Lanka and Maldives, and along with the three countries it was Mauritius and Seychelles which have been part of the virtual summit at the senior officers level, and that is trying to have a discussion with the Indian Ocean neighbors, not only the Indian neighboring countries with Sri Lanka and Maldives, but also with the Indian Ocean neighbors such as Mauritius and Seychelles. And this meeting is the 4th National Security Advisor level. This is Security Advisor level trilateral meeting that is about maritime security cooperation. So this meeting is based on, or it is in regards to the trilateral maritime security cooperation, and this has been revived after a gap of 6 years between the three countries, that is India, Sri Lanka and Maldives. And the importance of the trilateral National Security Advisor level maritime security cooperation is to promote a meaningful cooperation in the Indian Ocean region, and the main focus of the trilateral maritime security force is on the common issues pertaining to the maritime security. So it is the common security threats which have been discussed, and the views has been exchanged between the three countries on, or it is the 4th National Security Advisor level trilateral maritime security cooperation. So what is very important for mains perspective is the 4th National Security Advisor level trilateral maritime security cooperation meeting is the one which is the key, which India is definitely trying to reach to its neighboring countries, especially the Indian Ocean neighbors, to discuss or exchange views in regards to the common maritime threats or common security threats. So these are the keywords which India is certainly trying to have its greater importance being discussed with its Indian Ocean neighbors. And there is another news which talks about China has given a nod, that is a go ahead for construction of a dam on Brahmaputra. That is not onto the Indian soil construction of the dam, but the Brahmaputra river which flows from Tibet and which gets into India, and in the Tibet region the name of Brahmaputra is Sangpo River. So now the Chinese media has reported that the authorities of China have given a go ahead or a green signal for a construction of Chinese hydropower company, or to construct a dam by a Chinese hydropower company, and that will be the, now the dam which will be constructed will be the first of its kind of constructing the dam on the downstream dam. Please do understand, the first of it in the downstream, that is the lower region, that is at the lower region of the dam, it will be first time, that is on the lower reaches of the Brahmaputra river or Yarlung Sangpo river, which is the Brahmaputra river, which is called as Sangpo in Tibet. So what is very important is this, yes, no doubt it is for the analysis we need to take into consideration, but again geography map based, you need to focus this news. So the dam is been given a go ahead to be constructed at the downstream dam on the lower reaches, not on the middle region but on the lower reaches for the first time, wherein the name of the Brahmaputra in Tibet is being termed or called as Sangpo or Yarlung Sangpo river. And this, the report has made it very clear that the state owned, that is the Chinese state owned hydropower company called as Power China, has signed the agreement, that is the construction of the downstream dam, which it is called as a strategic cooperation agreement. So an agreement is been signed by a state owned, that is China state owned hydropower company called as Power China, with the TAR government, that is Tibet Autonomous Region government. So here the extremely sorry, here the downstream dam construction is been signed between Power China and Tibet Autonomous Region as part of the strategic cooperation agreement to implement hydropower exploitation in the downstream of the Yarlung Sangpo river in Tibet as part of the new 5-year plan of China, that is from 2021 to 2025. As part of the 5-year plan of China, it is now definitely into consideration that the Power China company has signed a strategic cooperation agreement with the TAR government, that is Tibet Autonomous Region, to implement the hydropower exploitation on the downstream of Yarlung Sangpo river, which is a part of the 5-year plan of China, which is from 2021 to 2025. So this is the factual and also analytical information which we would be focusing for both prelims as well as mains perspective. And this is not the first hydropower project, but definitely it is the first hydropower project on the lower reaches. Please do understand, I have said that this is the first downstream dam on the lower reaches, but to be more technically, it was in the year 2015 itself China has operationalized the first hydropower project at Sangmu in Tibet, and there were other 3 dams which have been constructed in the upper and middle reaches of the Sangpo river, that is Dagu, Jiaksho and Jiasha. So these are the 3 dams along with the Sangpo in Tibet, which have been the first hydropower projects operationalized in the year 2015, but they have been constructed on the upper and middle reaches of the Yarlung Sangpo river. But now the go ahead or the green signal by the authorities of China to construct a downstream dam in the lower reaches of the Sangpo river. Please do understand, there are 3: lower, middle and upper regions. So these are the one which are very important, that we need to focus that in regards to the geography map based. And now we will look at the potential spot. So where is the lower middle reaches or the downstream dam in the lower reaches of the river being constructed, and it is certainly a potential spot for China because it is being constructed at the Great Bend of the Brahmaputra and the Yarlung Tsangpo river, that is Yarlung Tsangpo Great Canyon in the Medoc County, where there is a river falls. And it is a spectacular river falls over 2000 meter drop at the Grand Canyon, which is at the Great Bend of the Brahmaputra, and it is in the county, that is Medoc County. And this river falls is a spectacular one which has a drop of 2000 meter, and then it turns sharply to flow across the border into India, that is through the Arunachal Pradesh. Again, this is the factual of geography and very important in regards to the geography map base. And this 50 kilometers section, definitely wherein the downstream there would be a construction of a dam in the lower reaches. It will develop 70 million kilowatt of electricity, and this potential of developing the kilowatt hour is equal to the Three Georges power station. Three Georges power station. So that is why it is a potential spot of going ahead with construction of the downstream dam in the lower reaches of the Yarlung Tsangpo river in Medoc County. And this project will definitely a significant role in realizing the China's goal of reaching carbon emissions and carbon neutrality. So reaching carbon emissions peak before 2030 and carbon neutrality in 2060. So this is again a crucial information which you can take it into consideration as short notes for the mains examinations. How the construction of the dam is significant because of the developing, it is potential to develop 70 million kilowatt hour. And Harika has joined. A warm welcome to you, Harika, to AKS IAS Academy Daily News Analysis. And we have looked at there were other dams which were built even in 2015 and been operational. So these are the dams. This I have provided this information or the map so that you will have a better understanding about the dams which have been constructed and operationalized in the year 2015. It is Dagu 640 megawatt, Zangmu 510 megawatts, Jiacha 320 megawatts, and Muthoot it is 38 megawatt, and then it is Jiakshu which is 500 megawatts. So definitely this is the dams which have been constructed earlier itself in the Tibet Autonomous Region. And this is called as Yarlung Tsangpo River in the Tibet Autonomous Region, and once it enters into India it is called as Brahmaputra River. And there is a sharp hairpin curve. And this is called as Great Bend. There is a bend which takes place, sharp curve. It is called as hairpin curve, and this it goes ahead with, or there is a curve, and then it enters into India, that is in the Arunachal Pradesh. Here this is a curve. This takes place this way. It enters. It is this way, and then there is a curve, and this curve is this. This is a curve. And there is another, you have a Siang River in India. The Indian government is keen on building a mega dam on the Siang River, which is the Brahmaputra's name in Arunachal Pradesh. So the Siang River in or Brahmaputra river in Arunachal Pradesh is also called as Siang river. So these are all very very crucial information for factual for UPSC prelims, and this is a great bend of the Sangpo river or Yarlung Sangpo river in the county that is in China, and then it takes a hairpin and enters into Arunachal Pradesh, and then called as Siang river, and then later on Brahmaputra river. And definitely with this go ahead by China's authorities to construct a downstream dam, India has expressed concerns in regards to the 4 dams which have been built in the upper and middle reaches, and definitely Indian officials say that the dams are not likely, the one which have been already constructed are not likely to impact any quantity of Brahmaputra flow into India, because only the dams, the 4 dams which have been constructed is only for storing of water. They are only storing water for power generation, and Brahmaputra, the officials, Indian officials say that Brahmaputra is not entirely dependent on the upstream flow from the Yarlung Sangpo river from the Tibet Autonomous Region, but Brahmaputra basin in India has 35% itself. So definitely Indian officials do not have much of impact on the quantity of Brahmaputra flow into India from the Tibet Autonomous Region. And a dam at the Great Bend, if approved, now see they say they do not have any impact in regards to the existing 4 dams, but the new Great Bend, where the Great Bend takes place, the downstream area, the lower reaches, if a dam is constructed or if it approved, then it would raise a fresh concern with India, because the location of the dam is just across the border from Arunachal Pradesh, and definitely there would be a fresh concerns between India and China. So this sure you need to take it into consideration, that how best you can try to use this information for prelims as well as mains examination in regards to the geography and geography map based questions for prelims as well as mains perspective. And there is another news which talks about lifetime risk of diabetes. So diabetes is increasing and it is at alarming pace, especially in metros, and there is a study which has been conducted, and this study has proved that it is a disturbing trend which has been published by the Diabetologia, that is a journal of European Association for Study of Diabetes, have come up with the report that more than half of the men and 2/3 of women, especially in the age of 20s in India, are likely to develop diabetes, and this is definitely 95% of type 2 diabetes. So certainly in India the silent killer is diabetes, but most of the Indians do not really focus on the diabetes, but rather they would be focusing on something, other diseases. But the silent killer in India, or the silent killer, the disease is diabetes. That is 55%, and 65% of women aged around 20 years in India are likely to develop diabetes, that is type 2 diabetes. And the research or the study which has been conducted, the title of it is Lifetime Risk of Diabetes, especially in metropolitan cities in India. And this study has been taken up, or it has been conducted by a team of authors from India, UK and US. So the countries which are part of this study is India, UK and US. And the paper or the research paper has also noted that India, as it has already has a significant health burden because of the diabetes, which is already the 77 million adults of India have been suffering with diabetes, but it is likely to increase and it is likely to double in India by the year 2045 to 135 million, from 77 millions to 134 millions It will be, it will be by the year 2045. So this is the alarming and disturbing facts which have been noted in the paper or in the research paper which has been published in a journal called as Diabetologia by the European Association for the Study of Diabetes, and the title of the research is Lifetime Risk of Diabetes in Metropolitan Cities in India. And the authors have also gone ahead with a new estimation from India, that they have noted that the estimates of lifetime risk of 20 years old in India is almost as close to the estimates of the risk of black and Hispanic population in US, which will be affected by the diabetes. And this black and Hispanic population are at higher risk when you compare with the general population in US. Please do understand, there is one estimate that India's, the one who would be affected by the diabetes are very much close to the black and Hispanic population in US, and this black and Hispanic population are higher at risk when compared to the general population in US. And we will look at what are the various factors wherein the chances are likely to develop or double the number from 70 million to 135 or 134 millions by 2045 in India. The main reasons, or what are the reasons for the, or what are the factors for the diabetes or the silent killer to gradually increase, especially in metropolitan cities in India, is because of urbanization, decreasing diet quality, decreasing levels of physical activity are all contributing to this hidden and silent epidemic which is emerging gradually, but most of the Indians are not really worried, or they are not really focusing on that diabetes has to be taken into consideration seriously. And in India, women are having a higher lifetime risk across the lifespan, that is as per the reports of the paper published. And obesity has a substantial impact in the women because they are they are generally having a higher lifetime risk of diabetes. And the paper also has published, or it has highlighted the risk of highest among obese metropolitan Indians, and these are of constituting of 86% of among 20-year-old women and 87% among men. So definitely obesity is the one of the reason. The others are urbanization, decreasing diet quality, decreased levels of physical activity. Because of the decreased level of physical activity, obesity is the outcome of it. And because of this obesity itself, 26% among the 80 years of women are being affected by diabetes, and in regards to the men it is 87%. So this is the crucial information which you can use it for mains examination, which is the alarming epidemic and a silent killer in India, that is diabetes. And there is another news which talks about Iran will give a calculated response to scientist killing. So a scientist, that is Iranian scientist, was killed, and his name is Fakhrizadeh, who was being assassinated near the highway in Tehran on November 28, 2020. And he was the scientist of Iran, and in response to the assassination of Fakhrizadeh, the top advisor to Iran's supreme leader, has said that Iran will give a calculated and decisive response to the killing of the Fakhrizadeh, who is the top nuclear scientist, of Iran. Not only the top advisor of Iran supreme leader has given a statement in regards to the top nuclear scientist assassination, but a hardline newspaper has also suggested that there would be a revenge from Tehran, that is Iran, and they would definitely strike the Israel city, that is Haifa. So definitely Iran is very clear that the assassination would be by Israel. So definitely they are making it very clear that there would be a revenge, which would be a calculated and decisive striking to the Israeli city of Haifa, because Fakhrizadeh, the top nuclear scientist of Iran, has been gunned down or assassinated in Tehran on November 28, 2020. And Fakhrizadeh was suspected from long time by Western and Israeli governments. Why? Because they suspect Fakhrizadeh, the top nuclear scientist of Iran, of masterminding a secret nuclear program. Please do understand why they suspect, why the Western and Israeli government has suspected Fakhrizadeh, who is the top nuclear scientist of Iran, because they suspect that he has masterminded, or he was masterminding, a secret nuclear weapons program. That is why probably I'm saying probably they have gunned down or assassination of the Fakhrizadeh. And Israel clerical and military rulers have also blamed the Islamic Republic's long-term enemy, that is Israel, for the killing. So the Iran is blaming Israel for the assassination of Fakhrizadeh. But certainly there is a different challenge to Iran if they strike Israel, because Iran's rulers are also aware of the daunting military and political difficulties what Iran is facing, and they would be again experiencing a military and political difficulties when or while they attack Israel, to go ahead with taking revenge against the assassination of Iran's scientist Fakhrizadeh. So such kind of attacks by Iran onto Israel will only complicate the efforts which the US President-elect Joe Biden, even in his campaign, has said that he will definitely focus on the Iran nuclear deal, revamp the Iran nuclear deal, which was, the earlier US President Donald Trump had pulled out of the Iran nuclear deal. So definitely this might complicate, if the attacks by Iran would certainly complicate the efforts of Joe Biden to revive the Tehran that he promised that he would, once he takes office, he would go ahead with reviving the Iran nuclear deal. So definitely there are challenges which would pop up if Iran strikes or attacks Israel, which Iran is blaming Israel for the killing of the top Iran nuclear scientist Fakhrizadeh. So this information is in regards to the international relations. Not only that, there would be by this, by the assassination or the gunning down of Fakhrizadeh will definitely create a kind of political instability in West Asia. So you need to focus what could be the political instability in West Asia post assassination of the top nuclear scientist of Iran, Fakhrizadeh. Gauri Naidu has joined, Kannuru Kumar has also joined. So very good morning to you all, and a warm welcome to AKS IAS Academy. And definitely this is very crucial information for a better understanding about the West Asia or political instability of West Asia post assassination of the scientist Fakhrizadeh. And now we will recapitulate the today's DNA, that we have gone ahead with this core summit. Again, this is very crucial information for the regional cooperation in regards to international relations. And this is again the maritime security challenges which India would face and been discussed with India, Sri Lanka, Maldives and Mauritius and Seychelles. And this is in regards to the geography and geography map based questions in regards to the Yarlung Sangpo river and Brahmaputra river, that is downstream dam being given permission by the authorities of China to construct on the lower reaches on the Yarlung Sangpo river. And this is in regards to the health, that is the risk of diabetes in metros, which the study has been conducted. And we have also seen the reasons why there is the rise of diabetes, especially in the metros. And this is in regards to the political instability in West Asia, international relations. So these are the informations or the analysis which we have focused, so that I hope this was a very informative, knowledgeable session. And I would say a very big thank you to all and a good luck to you all. And also Ajay Ram has joined. A warm welcome to you, Ajay. And then do maintain consistency in regards to preparation. Stick to your schedule. Take care of your physical health and mental health. And also do like the video, share the video, and also subscribe the AKS IAS Academy English Medium YouTube channel, and also have access to the website and subscribe the Telegram link of AKS IAS Academy, that is Advanced Knowledge System also. And see you again tomorrow at 7:30 AM for the daily news analysis. And I would say a very big thank you to all. And then see you tomorrow at 7:30 AM.